Hello everyone, Portly Paladin back here again for another update. Lost 2 pounds this week. You know, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was telling them about my progress and kind of going through things, and I said, I've been losing 2 to 3 pounds almost every week lately. And their response was, that's all? Well, you know what? Screw you. You know what? Because, I mean, I'm working hard here. Yeah, at first, when I first started this, I was losing 12 to 15 pounds a week for the first couple of weeks. And that was amazing. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, I'll just take what I can get. If I can get 2 to 3 pounds a week, eventually that's going to add up. If you think about it, 52 weeks in a year, 2 pounds a week, that's 104 pounds. If I do my math right. Yes, 104 pounds. You know what? If I can lose 104 pounds in a year, I'm going to be ecstatic. So screw you for trying to rain on my parade and saying that's all when I tell you I've been losing 2 to 3 pounds a week. So yeah, whatever. I think I'm doing a good job. I think I'm getting there. Do I think I can do more? Sure. Um, do I really want to do more right now? Sort of. Do I really want to work as hard as I need to work in order to get there? Not really. And don't get me wrong. I do want to lose the weight and I want to be there at some point. Um, but at the same time, it's a lot of work, and I've got a life to live. I got things I want to do and things that I got to accomplish. I still need to find a job. I can't really um, spend tons of time every day just exercising and working out. And honestly, I just don't think that's even healthy. It's even a good thing to do. Yeah, I could sit here every day and I could go up to the park and walk for half an hour and then come home and work out for half an hour and then take a little break and then do some more walking and then do some more exercising and things. I could work out 4 to 6 hours a day, but yeah, I've got other things to do. And while losing weight is important to me, it's not the only thing. And if you just look back at some of the people that have lost a ton of weight, um, let's use like The Biggest Loser for example. Those people are there for what, 2 3 months, and they lose 150 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever it is, and then you see a huge transformation. But then I want to know how many of those people have gained the weight back. I know for a fact that one of the earlier winners that started dating another person from the show, and they lost a ton of weight. They've both started gaining a decent amount of the weight back. I think if you lose the weight too quickly, I think you get a little jaded as to what you think you can do with yourself. If you lose 150 pounds in 3 months, and when it comes time to sit down and you see that cake in front of you or pie or whatever your weakness is, and you think, well, I can have that because look what I did last time. I lost 150 pounds in 3 weeks. Well, that's probably not going to happen again. And on top of that, if you take your time to lose it, I think it really ingrains itself into your head what you're doing and how much work it's actually taking, and how easy it is for you to slide and go back. That's one of the biggest things I've learned in doing this is, perfect example was back at the holidays. I had lost over 60 pounds before November came around. I was doing great, felt really good. November came around, I'd started a new job. Things were looking good for me. I thought, well, I don't need to work as hard because look how hard I worked in these couple of months and I lost 60 pounds. I could just taper off a little bit and I'll still be good. At the new job, there was free food all the time, so I kept, just picking things up here and there. I didn't do nearly what I would have done previously. Um, I would have eaten a lot worse and a lot more things, but I still kind of paid attention to what I was doing, Still ate more than I should have, and worse things than I should have. But I didn't do too badly, I don't think. And then, the holidays come around, and I don't think I'm ever going to be a person that's going to diet, quote unquote, during Thanksgiving and Christmas, because, well, Thanksgiving is just a food holiday. It's a holiday that's all about getting around with your family, enjoying those classic things you've eaten since you were a kid, and just having a good time around the dinner table, eating with other people. And to sit there and be that person that's picks and chooses, oh, I can't have any of that. I don't want any of that. That's too much for me. There's too much sugar in that. Too many carbs in that. I don't want to be that person in this environment where everybody's just trying to have a good time and it's all about sitting around and eating good food. So I don't think I'm ever going to be someone that's going to just be completely different when it comes to eating a meal like that. I'm probably not going to be the way I used to be ever, but at the same time, I'm not going to just, oh, well, I'll just eat a little bit of turkey. Oh, no mashed potatoes for me, thank you. Oh, no rolls for me. That's too many carbs. It's not going to happen. Same thing with Christmas. Christmas is the same way in my family. It's a big holiday where we get together. We have a big meal. You have the Christmas cookies and the Christmas candies that everyone makes and brings around, the desserts, things like that. These are all things that make me happy and that I like to see and that remind me of family. And I'm not going to deprive myself of those things on a big holiday like that. So while I did kind of stick with that this past holidays, I kind of went a little overboard also. I just sort of really from Thanksgiving through Christmas, I sort of forgot that I was on a diet and kind of just didn't pay much attention to it anymore. And between that whole span from November to, say, beginning of February, I kind of didn't really pay attention too much to the fact that I was on a diet. And to the point to where when I went to the doctor in February and realized I had gained actually 35 pounds back, somewhere close to that, I was kind of disgusted with myself. I had lost close to 65 and then gained 35 of it back, and that's when I said, yeah, I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing. I can't slack off the way I thought because I don't have the willpower to just slack off a little bit. I'm going to slack off too far and it's going to hurt. So that's when we sort of restarted things. My wife and sister-in-law joined a Weight Watchers meetings. Can't really afford for me to go quite yet, but we're looking for me to go soon. Maybe as soon as I get back to work, hopefully. But because of that, we kind of strapped ourselves back down, tightened up that belt buckle, however you want to put it, and tried again. It's been successful. I lost that 35 pounds back and then some ever since. So I've reached a point where I've lost over 100 pounds. So I believe as of this morning's weigh-in, I'm now at 472. So I'm pretty excited by that. I'm starting to notice that I can't really explain it, but I'm starting to notice that I feel like my body's in a place where it hasn't been in a very long time. I try to be honest on here with a lot of things, but at the same time, I really hate saying some things because it is fairly embarrassing. But I will admit that for the longest time, I would have to take a chair into the kitchen when I would be doing anything that would take any decent amount of time. If I was doing dishes, so it would take 30-35 minutes, I'd have to take a chair. Because I'd have to sit down. I couldn't stand long enough to do the dishes that amount of time. Prepping for meals, if I was doing a lot of chopping or anything like that, I'd have to sit down. But just recently, I was in there cooking, and I said, you know what? I don't think I need to sit down. So I just pushed the chair to the side, and I stood there the entire time, probably about a half an hour, making a meal, and I was good. I was pretty proud of that. That's something that I think I haven't done in a couple of years, probably 4 to 5 years, that I was able to do that. So that makes me feel pretty good. That makes me feel accomplished with what I'm doing, and it really gives me the push to keep going. Now, while I was talking just a minute ago, I thought of something that I wanted to mention and talk about here, but now I can't remember what that was. What was I just talking about? Maybe it'll jog my memory. I don't remember, honestly. But I will talk about something that's got me excited that I am planning on doing here in a couple of days. Today is Thursday, August 16th, and today is the first day of GenCon. Now, if you guys remember, last year I went to GenCon for a day. This year, as I mentioned in my last video, I am able to go, thanks to my sister-in-law and my wife. Bought them some flowers yesterday. You can sort of see the roses there over the corner of my shoulder, or over my shoulder, I should say. Not the fake flowers that are right here, but right there. I got those for my wife and some for my sister-in-law yesterday as a thank you for being great to me and allowing me to do this and, you know, supporting me. So, yes, in 2 days I am going to GenCon. I have been hard at work prepping today. As I mentioned before, I am doing press at GenCon for douchydm.com, which is the website, the blog site for Happy Jack's RPG Podcast. This is my interview notebook. I've been writing down questions to ask different companies. Kind of working through them here. I've got Pinnacle Entertainment Group that does Savage Worlds, Paizo that does Pathfinder, Steve Jackson Games that does ridiculous amounts of things, Gaming Paper, they make sort of paper, gridded paper for making maps and things for games. They've also been on Kickstarter a lot lately with a few different things. I've got Troll Lord Games, the company behind Castles and Crusades. I've got Sage Kobold Games, the people behind, what's it called? Dungeon World. I have Margaret Weiss Productions, the company behind games like Marvel Heroic Role-Playing, the Battlestar Galactica role-playing game, Smallville, Serenity, Firefly, a lot of the IP type games, the ones that really have an intellectual property already behind them, and they're adapting them to a role-playing game. Marvel is the biggest one though, but Margaret Weiss is one of the big companies that do that. WizKids Games that makes HeroClix and Quarriors, the Star Trek board game, Star Trek Expeditions, I think it's called. Things like that. I'm going to interview some individual people about things like Pathfinder Society, cosplay, podcasting. Have a huge list of things that I'm going to do. I've got some notes here that I've been going off of all day today. List of people I want to interview, list of companies I want to talk to, questions. One of the biggest things that people seem to be interested in right now is Kickstarter, and how Kickstarter is really affecting games and gaming. So I'm going to throw that in there. One of the things I really want to talk about in terms of GenCon today is I've got in my bag over here, let me grab it really quickly. I've been working on packing this thing all week. This is my GenCon bag. This is what I'm going to be taking with me for the weekend, or for the day, I should say. I've got several things in here. I've got a camera, lots of pins, for taking notes if I need to, straps for carrying my badge with me. I've got my personal badge that has Sergito on it, because that's what I go by on most forums and things. So if you happen to see me wearing that, you can stop by and say hi. I've got a inlaid dice bag that I'm planning on giving to the customer that ordered it. Ooh, business cards. I forgot about those. I've got business cards that I made to give out at interviews. so that people know who I am. douchedm.com. It says, Scribblings of the hosts and listeners of the Happy Jacks RPG podcast has my name and my email address, and it has the Happy Jacks RPG logo. Made these myself. Just printed them out on some really nice cardstock and cut them to size. I also have in here something that I'm really hoping that I'll be able to give out. I'm hoping that I get the opportunity to run into Will Wheaton. I like his tabletop gaming podcast, Tabletop, on the Geek and Sundry network of YouTube. I like it very much. So I kind of want to just hope to get an opportunity to stop and say hi. I don't intend to interview him just because I think it's going to be too difficult for that to happen. And I don't really plan to stand in line to get an autograph or anything either. But I did make this. It's a small dice bag. It's made in the style of all my dice bags, just smaller, with a single die inside, a large D20. And the reason that I did this, if anybody's familiar, a couple of years ago, he said he wanted to test out the theory that you can't have too many dice. So he asked everyone at GenCon to give him a die. He ended up getting a ton of dice. I'm not sure if he's asking to do that again this year. Haven't seen anything, but, you know, be that as it may, I'm taking it with me, just so I can give it to him, because I'd like to do that. But the preparation for my bag in terms of this particular video, this whole series, is a couple things. One, I've got a water bottle that I'm going to take with me. It's in rough shape, as you can see, but because I take this thing everywhere, some of the coating there is coming off. But everywhere at GenCon, or not everywhere, but in a lot of locations, they have water filtration system things. I'm not really sure what you want to call it. It's not so much a water fountain, but it's a place where you can actually fill up things like water bottles. I used them to great effect last year, so I'm taking another water bottle for that, so that I can stay hydrated throughout the day and not be forced to spend $3 on a soda. And since I don't drink soda anymore, that's a good thing as well. Also, I picked up some things here that I put in my snack bag that I kind of want to talk about. I've got these little packs. Each one of these packs is about 3 points. It's got some trail mix in here. There's nuts. There are seeds. There's a little bit of chocolate in here, just to give yourself a little bit of a sugary boost if you need it. But some raisins, some dried cranberries. There's some dried pineapple. Not sure what all is in here, but there's a lot of great things in here that are nice and healthy. I'm going to have these in here so that if I need a bit of a snack. My overall goal is to not have to buy any food at GenCon, because I don't think there's going to be anything that's a healthy option there in the actual convention center. If I remember from last year, a lot of it was sandwiches that didn't look incredibly healthy. There was pizzas and nachos and your standard fare like that. So rather than doing that and having to spend the huge amounts of money to get something like that and then it not be healthy, I decided that I'm going to take this with me. Our overall plan for the day is to eat a healthy breakfast on the way up. Might stop somewhere that has a semi-healthy breakfast options, like say a Caribou Coffee where you get like an egg white sandwich or something. And then have these snacks in my bag for throughout the day. I might end up having to eat something there, like some sort of regular meal, but it'll probably be small and it'll be the healthiest thing I can possibly find. And then we'll stop and have a healthy-ish meal on the way home, probably like a Subway or something like that, since that's a smaller amount of points. But I highly expect that I will go over my points for the day purely because of the way that it's so hectic. I'm going to be there for maybe 10 hours, and I have, as I mentioned, all those interviews to do. Trying to fit everything in without having to walk down the street to find something to eat is going to be difficult. So I'm trying to kind of supplement with things. I don't really want to carry anything in this bag that'll keep things cold, just because I think it'll be difficult to do. So fresh vegetables and things are out, but I do have here in the kitchen some bananas and some apples that I will also be putting in the bag. I do have a healthy-ish little bar here that I got. They're about 4 points a piece. Good for carbs. And decent amount of protein in there as well. That should help keep me going. I got a couple of those in here. And then I've got some of this turkey pepperoni that I really love, by the way. It's really good. 15 slices is only 3 points. So that's a good little supplement also to really kind of give me some extra protein and give me some get up and go. And then, like I said, the fruit. The last thing that I'm going to put in here, I've got a couple bags of the trail mix, a couple bags of the meat, and a couple of these granola bars, and then I'm going to have the fruit. The last thing I'm going to put in here is I'm going to make some probably pita chips or homemade tortilla chips, no frying. I just do a little spritz of oil. The pitas I cut into wedges, spritz them, a little bit of salt and pepper, put them on a cookie sheet, throw them in the oven at a low temperature, maybe 300 degrees, to sort of dry them out and crisp them up. I'll make some of those, put those in the bag, and that'll be a nice addition to give me something to crunch on throughout the day. But yeah, so there we go. I'm pretty well prepped now for GenCon. Getting a lot of things going. Kind of excited this year. I'm not as worried as I was last year. Last year when I went, I was pretty worried there toward the end of the day because, before the days leading up. That's what I meant to say. Mostly because I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know really what to expect of me was really the big thing. I didn't know how I would fare. I don't think I did badly. I think I can do better. This year I think I will do better. I kind of have to do better. I did have to stop quite a few times to sit and rest last year. While I still expect to have to do that this year, I don't expect I'll have to do it as often or for as long, which is a good thing considering, I do have all of these interviews to do. And as I mentioned before, I've only got 10 hours to do these, and I figure if we half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour per interview, and I have, 10 different people in here that I'm planning to interview, that's 3 hours right there. I have a 1 hour demo of a game that I'm planning on doing. It's 4 hours of my day, plus, traveling around the convention center to get to different places to do the interviews, to meet people. That's probably one of my biggest and favorite things about Gen Con is meeting people you don't normally get to meet. I have huge plans. I have plans to meet Jody Lane. She has YouTube where she actually does tutorials on how to sew posing suits for people who do things like bodybuilding. So she's big into that. She does that. She's also a big cosplayer. So I plan on getting a chance to talk to her about cosplaying, about being a woman who is a geek and a gamer. I'm planning to talk to both Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Param, and Ryan Costello Jr. of the No Direction podcast. Plan on talking to them about podcasting, what it means to be a gamer who does a podcast, just things in general like that. There's a couple people that I'm going to meet that are part of the Happy Jacks listeners sort of crew. May talk to them about what it's like to be a fan of something like Happy Jacks podcast. And then, some more well-known people in the industry. Ed Healy, planning on meeting up with him at some point to talk about his gamerati stuff. Plan to talk to Sean K. Reynolds of Paizo about a few projects that he has going on. Mike Brock of Pathfinder Society. I'm going to planning on talking to him a little bit about what Pathfinder Society has done for him and what he's doing for Pathfinder Society. But the big thing right now, because I am working with the website douchydm.com, is I plan to ask as many people as I can that I come across the question, what makes you a douchey DM? So let me leave you guys with that question. If you watch these videos and you're into gaming at all, and if you've ever run a game, why don't you answer that question in the comments? What makes you a douchey DM? Now, it could be that you're a railroading type GM where you don't really let your players interact with things very much. It could be that you kind of adversarial with your players. You try to kill them, or do whatever you can to stop them or thwart their plans. It could just be that you throw in ridiculous twists into your stories. Whatever it is, whatever you think makes you a douchey DM, I want to know about it. So tell me about it in the comments below. All right. Well, since we're coming up on a half an hour, and I didn't really intend on making this video this long, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. So until next time, keep waging a war against your waistline and keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.